Hi, welcome to Bombshell Impact, the podcast. Sherry, tell us, what is Bombshell Impact?
Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Bombshell Impact is a Facebook group that we've created to kind of create community around business building, business planning, and all the tools that you would need in your business to take you to the next level. So each and every Saturday, Sheares Benjamin, aka Banki, and I get on here on the Business Takeout platform to bring to the Bombshell Impact group tips and tricks and strategies that they can employ in their business to help them along the way.
Yes, that is correct. So, Bombshell Impact Success Tools for Women in Business. And we're here every Saturday giving it to you, all the tips that you need. This particular Saturday, we're going to talk about goal, having an action plan for your goal. But before we get to that, I would like to have everyone who's watching right now to take the time to share this live with everyone on your network. So just take the time, share it. If you're watching it on YouTube, share it. If you're watching it on LinkedIn or on Facebook, yeah, please share it. Let everyone know because everyone can gain useful tips from the show today.
And out of curiosity, if you're here with us live, please drop in the comments in the chat there. Where are you listening from? And, throw out what it is that you do. If you have a business, we're here to help you. So the more interactive we can be, the better it is for everybody.
That is correct. All right. So let's just introduce who we are. For those who don't know, my name is Sheares Benjamin. Everyone calls me Banki. I am the founder of Banki Designs, which is a graphic design, web design, and social media management firm in the Toronto area, in Toronto, Canada. And also, I'm the founder of Business Takeout. Business Takeout, for those who don't know, it's a social enterprise that provides business education to Canadian Black entrepreneurs. So you can visit our website at www.businesstakeout.com. You can find useful blogs on different aspects of your business that can help you. You can also find podcast interviews and podcast shows such as this one that we're having here today.
That's a big act to follow.
Yes.
So my name is Sheri-Anne. I'm a business operations and strategist, business operations management and strategist. I help you put into place workflows, systems, and processes in your business so that you can run your business with less stress. You clearly know what to do, when to do it, and everything that you need to use and do in your business is nicely organized and easily recalled. So you reduce the stress of just working in a chaotic environment. And that for everybody always brings cash flow. It brings an improvement in money in your business. There's huge savings and efficiencies to build around those things. So that's what I do. I also own a cleaning service, a service-based business right here in Toronto. I've had that for about 12 years. And now I'm looking to make the move online. So I'm creating a brand around my name and around my skill set, what it took to build my six-figure cleaning service. And now I'm sharing that with the world. And I'm using those same skills to try to build a business online. So that's me.
Yes. And thank you so much, Sherry. I think the audience is waiting for us to dive right into it. Mm-hmm. So what is an action plan? Today, we're talking about an action plan. We've been having a few episodes where we talk about goal planning. What does it mean to plan your goals? Now we're going to dive into having an action plan in place. And this is powerful. So Sherry, what is an action plan?
And I just want to touch on that because I don't want people to just grab onto this episode and think that this is where it's at. You have to watch all of the episodes because we're really breaking this apart. We're learning so much as we share this information. And there's nothing to be embarrassed about. Some people don't know where to start. Some people don't know how to start. So that's why we're bringing this to you. There's a world of abundance on the internet for us. So whether it's to learn or to make an income, it is there. And we've decided to bring it to you. So please look at all the other episodes as well so that you can get a really good handle on how to create goals for yourself, how to get your businesses in order. So this is like part 3 or 4, right, Banki?
Yes, part 3. That is
Part
correct.
3.
Yes.
So there's lots of information and nuggets to be had. So please go to the Bombshell Impact page on Facebook where you can find other episodes, the past episodes. So action plan, it's the course for your efforts. It's the strategy that you're going to take to get to your target. So and that's what an action plan is. But you asked, how does one start one? How does one set one in place? Well, without knowing where you're going, without knowing what your target is, it's very hard to put one in place. And that really requires knowing where you're going and how you're going to get there. So let's take weight loss, for example. If you were trying to lose weight, let's say, then you would say to yourself, okay, I want to lose X amount of pounds, right? Well, how are you going to do that? That's a big part of the action plan. So if you decide it's exercise, well, we need to make a plan in order to stay on top of our exercise game. If it is through diet, then we also need to make a plan to stay on that. So the action plan is actually taking the how and breaking it down and writing it out so that you have something to work by.
That is so true. One of the things that really how I apply it would be you looking at where you are right now and you're looking at where you want to be. And there is a gap in between where you are right now, where you want to be, and where you want to be as your goal. So it's putting a plan in place so that way you can get from where you are right now to where you want to be. Social media, for example.
Mm-hmm.
You have your business on social media and you want to organize your social media goals, right? So you look at where you are right now in terms of your social media followers, your social media engagement, and you look at where you want to be. And that putting a plan in place to get you to your ultimate end goal, that would be your action plan.
Yeah. And then once you have the how, you can actually create numbers around it, right? Because everything you do, every action in your business, every strive forward that you're trying to take is measurable. So I always say, whether it's answering the phone, how long you've been on the phone, how many people you need to speak to in order to sell X, how many of X you want to sell, how many pounds you want to lose. It's all trackable information. And a big part of the action plan is to turn the actions into numbers so that you know where you stand.
That's true, which is going to lead us into the next question. And is you know that you want to put in this action plan into place, you know where you want to be, but how do you start it? Sheri, what's your take on that?
So again, it's knowing where you want to go and then understanding. And this is where I did a live on Wednesday, and I thought people were going to laugh at me, and they didn't. They understood it. You have to do some guesswork. If you have no clue where to start, you have to do a little bit of guesswork. Sometimes it requires looking at people who have been there before you, whether it is a coach or whether it is a TV icon or someone who has done it before you, and look at the tactics they use. Your story doesn't have to be the same. All ideas that are in the world, nothing is net new. I always say this. Things are born off of other ideas. So if you know that you want to lose 100 pounds by Christmas, but you don't know how, what are other people doing? And what can you employ for yourself that's doable that you can keep up with, right? Then we can start writing out, okay, I'm going to do these activities this many times a week or this many times a month, and I'm going to measure it. Today I'm here, and I'm going to measure where I am in 30 days. Perhaps you're going to measure it, and it depends on what you're doing. Measurements, the time that you will measure is going to be determined by the product or the effort that you're putting forward.
I agree, and measuring is so important. I would really, my take on it would be to really decide on what you want, making a firm decision, having clarity in what you want, being specific in what you want. So that way, if you know specifically, I want to have 10,000 followers by in 12 months, being that specific can really help you into, starting an action plan because you are specific into where you want to go. So
Absolutely.
exactly.
You have something to work backwards from. You have something to actually measure. Did I set a realistic goal? Am I really going to be able to get 10,000 people by Christmas, and how? Right. So it's really, and this is the part where people fall down. They think if they have it in their head, then it's done. But when it comes to planning and executing, you need a roadmap. All the successful gurus use roadmaps. I have a coach that does hundreds of thousands a month. He uses a roadmap. And the funniest story with him is now he's killing it. Like, he's killing it. But when he started, same product, he sucked. Why? He didn't have a plan. He didn't have processes and systems in his business. So nothing was repeatable. Nothing was measurable. And I'm not talking about his craft. He does ads. I'm not talking about his craft. I'm talking about all the operational and systematized things in your business that actually help to move you forward. And this is why planning and writing out a plan is so, so very important. It gives you something to execute on.
Exactly. So diving right into the next question. So just to summarize, you pretty much know what you want, right? Now you're putting your plan into place. You need to set deadlines. Sheri-Anne, any tips for setting deadlines?
So yes. Again, you need to know where you are. You need to know where you're going. And one of the big things is we can set an unrealistic deadline. That is not unusual, right? We can set an unrealistic deadline. But what will draw that deadline into reality, make it real, make it achievable, is when you're measuring along the way. And that's why the planner I created is for 12 weeks, because you'll be able to break things down to the smallest doable denominator and watch along the way what you're doing and be able to shift and edit along the way. Deadlines may be missed. Yeah, it may happen. But setting a deadline is based completely on where you are right now and how you think you're going to get there and how long you think it's going to get there. But the things with plans are they're meant to be changed, right? A plan really ends up being a guide. Think of a business plan, right? A business plan is a working document. It always changes as our environment changes. I'm sure nobody out there had a coronavirus plan in their business plan. Nobody expected that. Nobody had that written into their marketing or sales plan, right? Hence me doing the shift to online. This is the way I think that is going to be for me. So
You mentioned some great points, and you nailed it. So really, when it comes to setting deadlines, the way I see it is how you look at deadlines and what deadlines does for your mind. So for your mind, once you set a deadline of what you want to accomplish, your mind then expects you to be in the framework to accomplish that particular goal, which is powerful. And of the other, what you did mention was also being realistic with your goals. A goal is really an estimate time of how long it would take you to accomplish a specific task.
yeah,
So being specific and realistic to that timeline is really key because you want to be able to achieve it, right? So
absolutely.
another thing I wanted to ask. Another thing I wanted to say was also having sub deadlines. And the reason why I say that is you might have a long term goal and you have a deadline for that. And then you have sub deadlines to get you to that ultimate goal. So, for example, if your ultimate goal is to have 5,000 followers on your Instagram account, for example, you then have sub deadlines of how many you want to obtain each month to get you to that ultimate goal. So having
Absolutely.
realistic deadlines and realistic sub deadlines, I think, is very important, and and should be included as part of your business plan.
Absolutely.
Action plan.
Yeah, for sure.
What if you don't meet your deadlines?
So again, if we're measuring along the way, and the other reason 12 weeks is a doable period of time, if we're measuring along the way, we should be making shifts and edits and pivots and changes based on our activities. So tracking is something that's going to happen very regularly. And depending on your business, the more transactions you have, the more tracking you should be doing and looking at the results. The results are really what's happening. It's not what you think in your head. It's not that I have $5 more than I made last week. What really happened? Where did that extra $5 come from? Was it a sale? Was it because I showed up online and then someone bought my thing? Like, how did it come about? Why? So that you can understand where what that source is. You can start to pitch that source more, right? If we know it's working, why not go after it some more, right? And then we'll be able to make changes to either change our deadline, pull it up, push it up, whatever that is. And the same way we can miss our deadline, we could actually blow it out of the water with our efforts. And that too is not to be ignored. We need to look at that and then adjust our dates, adjust our timelines, adjust our goals accordingly. Growth is excellent, but do not pat yourself on the back too quick for exceeding without making a change. Maybe you set your bar too low.
That's exactly it. And I'm glad you said that, because it's okay to change your deadline. If, if in the middle of it, you're like, you know what, I'm either going to do this too soon, or I'm going to do this way beyond what I set for myself. Yeah. So, it goes back to being realistic. And sometimes being realistic in the present and 5 days from now might be two completely different things. So it's okay that if you if you set a deadline, it's okay to change it, because a lot of things can happen in life that can just throw everything out of whack. You mentioned COVID was one thing. You may have had a deadline that you had to meet during COVID, and all of a sudden this happened, and you had to replan, and you had to realign different goals and realign the things that you have to do to get you to the ultimate goal, because there's now an obstacle in your way. Things happen all the time. Life happens. So definitely, if you miss your deadline, or if you complete your deadline too soon, or it's always good to go back at it and reset a new deadline.
Absolutely, nothing's wrong with that.
Exactly. Okay, so my next question is: do you write your goals down on paper, or do you use a vision board?
Me personally,
yes. Okay, so basically what I want to know out of this question is, why would you use a vision board, and why would you use a planner like the one that you have?
All right, and I'm going to answer this personally, my personal opinion. I see my business and any work that I do in service, in my service business, as a means to getting the quality of life that I want in my personal side for me and my family. So my business is a vehicle. That's how I see it. And so in business, I set goals, I set targets. I hold my butt to the fire. I think I do a pretty good job of doing that myself. And in business, that's how I manage it. In personal, I have a visual board that I don't share with people. If you come to my house, you won't see it. It does hang so that I can see it. And it has the things that I aspire to have, the way I aspire to live, right? So Gail says the vision board is in your face. It's in my face. I don't want it in anybody else's face. So unless you're coming into my bed, you won't see my vision board. Like, that's how I've got it positioned. So that's how I feel about vision boards. I don't do vision board parties. That's how I feel. I feel it's very personal. I know for me and the person that I am, if I share it, it's much harder for me to attain it. But if I keep it to myself, I'm going to get it. I just know that. So, and I do vision boards, and I slaughter them every year, and I change them up. Business wise, I write things out, and even in my personal life, I have a book. I'm the queen of notebooks. I have a book where I write things down, but business side, I write it out. I write out what it is that I want to have in the business, how I'm going to get there. And my goals in my business are action oriented, like showing up online, like posting, like sharing my content. Those are my goals. And I have stages to my goals. So next is going to be building traffic, and then, and so on and so forth. So I write them out first with pen and paper, and I scribble and I scratch, and then I rewrite it and I make it all neat. I visualize it in my head, and then I waste time. And when I say waste time, I waste time putting it into a pretty spreadsheet, and then I write it out in a Word document. So though the process sounds long, it is putting it into my subconscious so I don't forget it. But it's also, if it's not actually out there, it doesn't happen. For me, writing is impressing it upon my subconscious mind. So it's easy for me to recall the words on the paper. But I have my own little ritualistic way of doing things. So that's what it is for me. And I recommend everybody write it down.
I agree. Going back to even like going back to school, college, high school, writing things down would be how I remember. If I don't write down my notes when it comes to exam time, I won't remember anything, right? So writing is crucial to write down what your goals are. How I use a vision board, kind of like you, it's in my bedroom. It's the first thing I look at when I wake up in the morning. It's huge. I have like a big board, right? But the key thing of what I have on there is I have what my main goals are at the very top. And in the middle, I have list of things I need to do on a daily basis. So that's how I use my vision board. It is just like what you said, Sheri, very personal to me, because my ultimate vision, my ultimate goal in life, I don't want, it's not something I talk about. I mean, I talk about my passion for, the Black community. I talk about my passion for, business in general and, helping others. I talk passionately, for those who know me, I talk passionately about these things. But when it comes to what I want to accomplish in life, I just think that's personal for me, and that's something I really keep to myself, and it's on my vision board. So yeah.
I'm glad you brought up the question, because I think people get really caught up in wanting to hit their goals and then hearing the noise of vision board party, vision board, vision board, vision board. And that may not be what is for them. And I think what I'm taking away from this discussion here is it's really important to know what works for you. Who are you? How do you work? What kind of environment do you need to be successful in, to be able to keep moving forward? So you really have to consider yourself when it comes to even planning, setting goals, etc. Not just the vision board piece. You really need to know who you are and what works for you. Just because a guru says have a vision board party doesn't mean you need to participate. You can participate on the down low and keep your own vision board if that's how you function. But there's a lot of business building that it really has to be done based on your personality in order for you to succeed.
I also want to add that, in having an action plan for your, business goals, it's also really good to have an action plan. I know this is business, but on my vision board, I also have an action plan for my health goals, and action plan, like it's part of my goals, my health goals, my spiritual goals, just my wealth goals, just everything. If you can, you need everything need each other. Yeah. So it's really important to have that on your vision board as well. But I mentioned something about having a to-do list, and I'm going to really go into that for the next question. Sheri, what is the benefits of having a to-do list?
To-do list serves so many purposes. One is an actual detailed list or bullet pointed list of what you need to do. You can have a to-do list for the day, the month, the week, but having itemized lists, it takes away oodles of time that you can lose on guessing what you should do next. So to-do lists are very important. It sets yourself up. It sets your brain up. I do my to-do list in the evening before I leave work for the next day, and it sets your brain up for the next day. You already know what's up against you, what's ahead of you, so you'll know where to start, right? So that's very helpful. You don't want to be entering your days willy-nilly, because you'll be willy-nilly all day and lose a lot of time where you could actually be conquering a to-do list. The other thing a to-do list does, and there's a reason why there's like checks on a to-do list. If it's digital, it crosses it out. There's a reason for that. A to-do list, once you start accomplishing and physically, don't do it digitally, physically checking things off your to-do list, your brain gets that feel-good feeling, right? So now your brain has experienced a small win, you feel better, and you're more encouraged to do it again, right? That's really where motivation is birthed. But yes, that's a big part of it. Can we grab that question on the screen? Because I think it's fitting to where we are.
Yes. What is your take on practicing manifestation mindsets?
I'm 100,000% believer in that. I think that what you think on grows. Like I don't know how else to say, what you think about grows. I think it changes your mindset overall. I started meditating back in 2018. Funny thing, I signed up for a coaching program. I thought I was going to learn how to do PR and writing and so forth, which I did learn. But the very first module was mindset. And oftentimes we're entering things with the wrong mindset. And because we haven't adjusted our mindset, our experiences are then received as negative, as obstacles, as no good, and then we shut down. But manifestation, I think, is very, very powerful. It's teaching your subconscious mind what you want to do, and your subconscious mind will only take what you give it. So if you say you're shy, it takes you're shy. If you say you're ugly, it takes that you're ugly, and it makes you believe that. But anything you feed it, including positive, your subconscious mind will scour the earth to make it happen. And this is where, that I always talk about, motivation is not just a thing you wake up with. This is how it all starts to get built. So yes, mindfulness, meditation, manifestations, absolute positive affirmations. I believe in all of those things, because you do have to retrain your brain based on whatever story you've been telling yourself for the past 30, 20, 50 years.
Yes, and I just want to add, I also believe in all those things, and I practice it daily. Like I have a journal that I go through when I talk about different things that happen on my business journey, right? I have list of things that I'm gratitude about, like basically showing gratitude. And also I also have affirmations, business affirmations. I think that is powerful. And that's a great topic, and I think it's a topic that we would probably have will be discussing in a future episode, so stay tuned for that as well. So in my take on the to-do list is pretty much, it's a list of everything that you need to do to achieve your goals, and you have to identify, it helps you identify what obstacles you have that you might encounter, so you can foresee that in advance and come up with solutions for it. It helps you so going through obstacles, let's say you have a social media account and you want to be able to manage it more effectively. And you know that your audience are more active online at 6 a.m. And, you're maybe to wake up every morning at 6 a.m. to do a post might be, not the best thing for you if you are not a morning person. So then you need to, that's an obstacle. And then you need to find a solution. So a solution would be, having a scheduling system to schedule the post for you in advance. So a to-do list is great. It's useful for you, especially when you're doing your action plan, because it helps you identify what obstacles that you may have and that you need to overcome. It also helps you identify different type of things such as knowledge, information, skill set that you need to accomplish a goal. Let's say your goal is to be a scientist, whatnot, right? A big part of it is that you need to go to school to learn that.
Yeah.
you know so
Yeah.
maybe the knowledge part, what type of knowledge you need to have in order to accomplish that goal, and that's part of your to-do list of how you're
Yeah.
going to acquire that, right? Another part is to identify the kind of help you need to accomplish your goals, the type of people that you might need. Maybe one of your goals is to have a fitness show, for example, right? You need to know a lot of people in that particular profession to help you along that way. So maybe part of your to-do list would be to network with those people, use social media, and engage with the people that you would want to have in your life. So that would be part of your to-do list for your action plan as well.
Yeah. Yeah. You hit on some really good points there. And, being able to break things down is crucial. Like, I can't say it enough. Like, that's really where the goodness comes in, and that's really where you start to get moving forward.
Exactly. My next question is, how do you prioritize?
How do I prioritize my goals?
Yes.
So oftentimes when you set out to do your goals, they will be prioritized for you because, for example, in my effort to put myself online, I need to have a social, a branding, and a social page made, right? So I couldn't just get out there as I thought what I needed to do. There was this obstacle in the way, this priority that needed to be taken care of. So a lot of the priorities will self-dictate, but when it comes to mapping out your goal, once you discover the how, oftentimes step one will be identified for you and your priorities will be clearly laid out. And you're right, priority is a big deal when you're going for a goal, because I could sit and waste my time trying to build a website, which isn't really my wheelhouse, but I'm getting a kick out of doing it. But I'm not going to let that take over my effort to keep going in, posting socially and speaking to people who want to use my services. I provide the services right now. So I can provide the service, and I will build the website as I'm growing along. So priorities are important. Sales over, administrative, if you will.
Yes, and also what I want to add, I know that we're crunching for time. Also, what I want to add is knowing what's most important to what's less important, and having a sequence in place. So, what do you need to do before doing something else? So I think in terms of your to-do list and organizing your action plan, knowing your priorities are important, and also knowing the sequence of those priorities are also very important. I did have another question, but I think we're probably going to end it due to the time. So I think before we go, I'm just going to say, Sheri, you have a business planner available right now. Let us all know about it.
So I have a business goal planner that helps you lay out your goal. And really what I do is processes and systems. I do have a downloadable for that, but really what I found is you can't use that unless you know where you're going. What is the goal? So I created a planner to help people really start to map out and flesh out their goals, how they're going to get there. It's only 12 weeks. So again, it's created so that you can have those small wins that will encourage you to keep moving forward. It is very detailed. It includes a financial piece to match to your actions so that you can really track your path to the goal. So that's available. The link is on the screen. I can see it there. It's interactive, and I'm very open to feedback and questions. Please reach out if you're looking to map out your goal, to lay it out, and you just don't know where to start. I'm available. Give me a call.
Okay. We're going to put our contact information in the comments after the show is done as well, just to make sure that everyone has it. There are some comments. Let's have a look at those comments. Sheri, I'm going to ask you to read it because my camera has.
No problem. Okay, let's get it. What if you have several ideas or goals? Is that sabotaging or unachievable, or is it possible to multitask manage? So I don't know. First of all, on multitasking, it's not really a thing. You cannot be angry and then tell your brain to smile and be happy at the same time. So that's the best way I like to describe it. Multitasking is not a thing. It's about prioritizing, as we were discussing earlier. So if the goals are interrelated, then something has to come. The horse has to come before the cart. So pick whichever that one is and hammer that out of the park. Oftentimes when we're going for something, whether they're related or unrelated, and we have multiple goals, if we can find within ourselves the motivation, the framework, the habits out of going for that goal and slaughtering it, we now have a concept that we can now shift to other goals and help reduce the time that it takes to travel there. So I hope that answers your question. One of them has to be easier for you to do than the other, and that's the one I would go for.
I agree. I would have a series of goals, and I would prioritize what's more important, what's less important, and how and what is the plan for me to get there.
You're welcome, Tanya.
Okay. Any more comments? Okay. It looks like we're done with the comments. I know that there was a few, but those were the only comments that had questions attached to it. So it looks like we're done. It was a pleasure speaking with you all today. I had a blast, and I love talking about these things. So it was really great to be on the show with you today, Sheri.
It was great. Thank you for having me. And I too enjoy these conversations. So I'm grateful to be here.
Okay. See you guys next Saturday at noon on whichever platform you're watching it on. Right now, we're on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Have a good day. Bye, everyone.